Your colonizer, who earlier treated your language with disdain and called it vernacular, he organized an event, a conference, and you, the colonized, in that conference announced that you have banned the use of your own language in favor of the language of your colonizer. Tell me, do you think that is coincidental? Breaking news. Nigeria has banned the use of our indigenous languages as the teaching language in our schools. In the year 2022, the National Language Policy was made, which established indigenous languages as the language of instruction from early childhood to at least primary 6. But now, the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, has announced that nonsense has to stop. Why? Because according to him, these languages of ours are making our children dull. Their academic performance has been extremely low and parlous since the introduction of that very retrogressive policy of using our own languages as the teaching language in our own schools. Now, what is worthy of note is that this announcement was made in the Language in Education International Conference organized by the British Council. Your colonizer, who earlier treated your language with disdain and called it vernacular, he organized an event, a conference, and you, the colonized, in that conference announced that you have banned the use of your own language in favor of the language of your colonizer. Tell me, do you think that is coincidental? Studies all over the world have proven to be true the fact that children perform better when they are taught in their own mother tongue. Yet, our own Minister of Education has said that the reason why children are failing is because they are being taught in their own first language. I was a secondary school teacher here in Yoruba land just a few years ago, and I can attest to how genuinely happy children become whenever they are taught in Yoruba language. As an English teacher then, one thing I was really happy about was the fact that there was no such thing. That culture of paying fine for speaking vernacular didn't exist. Students spoke Yoruba freely in school without any consequences, and I was surprised, like, wow. And I was happy because that is progress. But unfortunately, that is no longer our reality. Students will now pay fine for speaking their own languages on their own lands. This is happening in 2025. Honorable Minister, sir, you said that the use of our own languages has led to the very academically poor state of our children. But did you specially train teachers for that 2022 National Language Policy? Teaching in our indigenous languages is very new to us. So if a policy was made as recently as 2022 that disrupts that former establishment, of course, you had to invest in training teachers so as to ensure that they do it effectively. You can't start something nationally in 2022 and in 2025 you are coming back to say it has failed, especially when it wasn't even done properly, and suddenly you are claiming that is the reason why students are now performing poorly. You claimed, Honorable Minister, that the languages in Nigeria are just too much for that kind of a policy to work. But there already exist many countries in Africa with different various languages, yet they are using their indigenous languages to teach their children in their schools. It simply does not interest our government in the least. For where there is a will, there is always a way, especially in the case of Nigerian government. If Nigerian government wants to do something, they will do it. My dear parents, you are on your own. You have always been. And now you've got a great task to do. The task of ensuring that your children are not being raised as clones of white children, for they will never be white. They shall forever remain caricatures if you try to raise them as what they are not. Nítorí àgbàbọ̀ ṣòkòtò, bí kò fúnni lẹ́sẹ̀, aṣọ ni. Ṣùgbọ́n rẹ́múrẹ́mú lohun ẹni bá ní mú. If a thing is not yours, if you borrowed it, it can never truly fit you. But your own thing will always fit perfectly. I conclude by quoting Dr. Bibi. She's written an open letter to our Honorable Minister, which she entitled Open Letter to Minister of Education on Silencing Our Tongues. She says, and I quote, "A child confident in their language is confident in thought and action. A nation secure in its languages speak to the world from a position of authority and agency, not mimicry and plea. To equate English with intelligence and competitiveness is to continue measuring ourselves with our colonial masters. Prosperity will only come when Nigerian children can think, dream, and innovate first in the tongues that can pronounce their name with precision and affirmation. Washiri.